marketing, not with throwing clay or building pieces, but marketing, especially online marketing. And in thinking about that, it seemed to me that a lot of times you pick up the best tips when it's not necessarily somebody who builds the same kinds of pieces as you do. And when I look at people that do marketing, there's two artists that I've been around in recent years that are really just outstanding at the marketing work they do. And they're both going to be joining us today, but I want to talk a little bit about why I think they're so outstanding. One thing is that they're very consistent. You always get pieces from them, information from them, and yet it's not the kind of stuff that hits you in the face going, I'm an advertisement, come by me. It's so subtle, and they may not even intend to be advertisements, but you have this constant reinforcement of who they are in a very positive manner, that it keeps the name in front of you and the reminder of the kind of work they do. They're going to tell you how they get that impression across. But I'm just really impressed about that. I've also watched both of them for a number of years, that they give away a great deal of information. Maybe it's because they were both teachers before they, or as part of their art career, but they're always so generous in their sharing of what other people can do. Cindy's going to go first today. I met Cindy through a gallery about 10 years ago, and she was a former English teacher. I still have to send things to her to correct my grammar. But one of the things that impressed me at the time was that she had decided if she was going to be a pastel artist, she was going to be the best pastel artist, and she was doing another pastel every single day. I don't have that kind of dedication. That's probably why Cindy has since then been president of the Texas Pastel Association, and why she sells a whole lot and does all these shows and is constantly expanding her work and her market. I just kudos to Cindy at all times for what she does. Then let me talk about Lynn Belisle. Lynn, both of these women are teachers. Lynn is undergraduate was in art also, and she has a master's degree, and she was also a teacher. Sort of differently, she was additionally a part of the computer science faculty at Trinity later. So she was a statewide recognized teacher before that, and then started teaching in computers. So she's who I call when I'm in a dither that I can't get something done about that. But she also is so interesting because she's teaching online, and through the many venues that she teaches and the constant sharing of additional information, she has built up a huge following that are people that are also buying from her all the time. So I think it's fascinating to see how these two people have both built a big following, and they're selling without you feeling like somebody's in your face waving a flag going, buy me, buy me, buy me. And I want y'all to hear what they're up to. So Cindy's going to go first, and then Lynn. Lynn, by the way, is a member of the Potters Guild and has been. And we have been to her former studio, which was one of our largest and highest attendance shows. What, maybe 5 years ago, Lynn? Something like that.
Jill.
Anyway, so if y'all would welcome Cindy Morawski and Lynn Belisle.
Yay,
So Cindy, go.
All right. Well, I want to first of all thank all of you for participating. That means a lot to me that that you're out there, and also want to thank Jill Wilson for the positive vote of confidence. Thumbs up, Jill. And Alan, thanks again for all your technical help and giving me the confidence that I need. Like Jill said, I've been a teacher most of my adulthood. I started out teaching secondary language arts and English, and I did that for 30 plus years. When I thought of myself, though, I never thought of myself as just an English teacher. I thought of myself as an artist. From the time I was a little kid holding a crayon, I'd heard stories from my family that my mother was always chasing after me with a Windex bottle because I thought the walls were my canvas. I just loved drawing, and I ended up painting, taking classes throughout my adulthood. And so when I retired from teaching, I decided that I wanted to spend a lot of time in my studio and learn more about painting. And so I ventured off into that direction, and I haven't regretted it for one single second. I absolutely love art, and I love to paint. And part of my mission is to teach and to connect with others. The way that people probably see me as a nature artist, I do landscapes, I do animals, I do birds, flowers, things from gardens, but I also do still life and the occasional human portrait. I started out as a pet portrait painter, and I'm still doing that. I get a lot of commissions. In fact, I just finished a boxer, and my high school classmates asked me to paint one of the classmates who's in charge of us and gets us together for reunion and stuff. I'm supposed to paint his dog, and her name's Bonnie. So I still think of myself as a pet portrait painter. I'm going to go right ahead and launch into what has helped me. When Jill asked me about thinking in terms of marketing, I was touched that she thought enough of me to ask me to do this, but I also thought personally, well, okay, so what have I done? So I came up with my top 7 ways to empowerment as an artist, and I hope this helps you too. The first thing is my website. I started out giving myself a destination so that people could find me. In today's world, we all need some way to be located, and for me, I simply use my name, cindymorawski.com. And I've also used a website guru named Lori, and she updates me every quarter or season with new artwork and news. And Alan can show you some of the things that my website includes. Everything from my bio on into my gallery links. And just give you an idea of some of the things that I paint. I go to Big Ben pretty often, and so I do a lot of painting out there. And those are just some examples of things I do. I mostly paint with pastel, but I also paint with acrylic, and I'm part of Gaga, which is a group of female or women artists, and I know a lot of the things that are in the exhibits need to be on canvas, so I've been venturing out with acrylic as well. Okay, the next thing that has helped me as an artist is my social media. And I started out with Facebook. That's been very helpful to me. I know there's a lot of controversy about social media these days, but overall, it's been a positive experience for me. It's helped me build relationships with others, and that's important. Creating a network with friends, supporters, art patrons that builds loyalty and appreciation for one's work. Alan's showing you my business link for Facebook. I also have a personal link, and I also use Instagram and Twitter. The one that he's showing you is facebook.com Morawski Fine Art. A lot of my personal pages experience with my role as an artist. And a lot of my friends are artists as well, so it tends to overlap. Thanks, Ellen. The next bullet is Zap or Zapplication. If you've ever experienced that, it's a really great way of getting out there and selling your own artwork. It's a service for artists that manage and jury hundreds of art fairs and events. I participate in about a dozen a year. Most of them are outdoors. They charge a small fee for jurying, and there's a booth fee, but it gives me venues to exhibit and sell my artwork. I set up a 10 by 10 tent, and I haul a lot of stuff in. I'm fortunate to have a husband who has helped me a great deal, but I really enjoy it, and it's contributed a great deal to my income. The Zap shows also help me build a client or customer contact list. And this is going to relate to my email campaign, which I'll hit in a couple of minutes. It helps me build that so that I can reach out to them. These events also give me free rein to sell my artwork without a commission or the concern of having to work for others. I have control over the venues. It gives me a wide range of opportunities. An example of a Zap show that I have participated in for years is the Kerrville Festival of the Arts. Of course, since COVID, most of them have been canceled. One of the big ones was at Rockport, and I thought it was going to go through, but it was canceled. And of course, Fiesta, I'm involved in the King William Fair, that's been canceled. So that's been disappointing, but it's something that I'll look forward to into the future. So those are the Zap shows. Next, galleries and shops. Being part of a gallery or shop gives an artist credibility and a constant source for showing and selling one's artwork. The brick and mortar stores usually take a commission and may ask you to work some hours. However, it's worth it. Belonging to a gallery is also another way to network and establish one's professionalism as an artist. I've been part of several galleries throughout the years. Recently, I added Mockingbird Handprints to my list. It's located in the Blue Star Arts Complex on South Alamo in San Antonio. I started off with the River Art Gallery, and if you haven't taken on a gallery, I would definitely recommend it. It's a co-op. It's a large one. It's been going on for years. It's very successful, and it's located in La Villita. During COVID up till June, they were completely closed, but normally they're open 7 days a week. And most of their business is through tourism. So of course that's been affected by COVID, but they opened in June on weekends. In fact, I'm working later this month on a Saturday, and it's just been overall very positive. Another one that has helped me from the very beginning was someplace called the Comfort Crockery. You may have heard of it because Rosie Ronner primarily sold pottery and ceramics. In fact, I found out about it through a couple of potters that I met in my very, very first art show that launched my career as an artist. And it was in Castroville. It was Old Fashioned Christmas. And the people next to me said, "Hey, do you know about Comfort Crockery?" And I said, "No." And they said, "Well, we recommend that." So I ventured out to Comfort, Texas, and I met Rosie, and she didn't have any painters. And she took me on, which was a great show of confidence. And I was a part of that gallery for quite a while until last year when she had to close down. But that too helped because it had given me opportunities to do demos and receptions, people that I've met through Comfort art festivals and Christmas in Comfort. All those things help me as an artist. Also want to give a little just a little bit about the art show that I'm doing live, which is hard to believe. Everything seems to be online, but I'm doing something at Capege, which is a cafe and gallery on Camden, which is near the San Antonio Museum of Art. I'm doing that for August and September, and In fact, I'm even doing a reception. It's going to be limited numbers of people and safety measures like masks and social distancing. But I have 35 paintings in their gallery. They have terrific coffee, great menu item with Rudy as the chef. Definitely recommend it. And that's again on Camden Street. Moving right along, the email campaign. I like to advertise through Constant Contact. I use this service and pay for it monthly. Through it, I can use their templates and support team to create a professional looking blog or a newsletter or art display. I send it out about twice a month through emails. I also post it on social media. This is a way to stay in touch with my contact list. It helps me gain commissions and to sell artwork. And while in quarantine, due to the coronavirus, I raised about $500 and donated it to the San Antonio Food Bank. I did this through an email campaign by showing and selling my artwork. I donated 50% of my sales money to the food bank, which of course is, to me, is a worthwhile cause. The emails, like I said in my Zap bullet, those have mostly been gathered through those art shows and festivals that I have done over the years. And I normally get them by having a sign in with their permission, or when they buy something from me, I traditionally call it my art connection. And I take their picture with the art and I send them a thank you note. And of course, that's when I'm getting their email. And I also ask if they want to receive my blog or my newsletter. And mostly they say, yes, I do. So I've collected those over the years, and a lot of my repeat customers are through that. Jill asked me what percentage am I selling? Is it through people that are new or people that are people I've already connected with? And I would say, venture to say, probably 70 to 80% are repeat customers. And that's from a lot of things that I've done that I've already talked about. Just wrapping it up, the last two, joining art organizations. Obviously, networking doesn't happen by magic. If you're involved in the San Antonio Potters Association, you know about that. You're already doing those things. But it can be done in lots of ways. One way that has worked for me is to join art clubs or organizations, working with others, going to meetings, classes, and workshops, while making friends with people who have things in common with me as an artist is invaluable for my career and business. Attending classes allows me to improve my skills as an artist. I can learn helpful things from other artists who are on the same journey as me. One art organization that I've worked with over the past 10 years is the Texas Pastel Society. And I served as a past president for 3 years, and I'm still very active in that group. We're Zooming as well. And last but not least, time in the studio plus inspiration. I try to be consistent in creating my artwork. I spend approximately 1 to 4 hours in my art studio most days, brainstorming, studying, sketching, painting. It gives me inventory I need. It helps me with mastering my skills. Yeah, I really do feel compelled to create art, so that's a passion. My inspiration comes in many forms, such as travel, plein air painting, photography, art classes, magazines, books, and more. If you have any questions, let's just wait until after Lynn is done, and I'll be glad to and happy to answer them. And thank you for listening.
Hey, Cindy, good.
Thank you, Cindy. I'm going to real quick share. I found the site for Capej here. I'm going to share that down here also with one of my questions, but I'm going to share that with everyone here for your live show.
Oh, thank you.
And then we will move along to Lynn. Lynn, did you want me to pull up anything to start with? I can go ahead and start with your website.
Well, I've got everything here, Alan. If you'll just let me share my screen, I'm good to go.
Perfect.
And while they're doing that, let me remind everybody to mute your selves, because I just realized I wasn't, and that somebody keeps texting me and I'm dinging away. And so I apologize, but everybody please.
All right, it's all yours, Lynn. Thank you.
Oh, thank you. Okay. This is, first of all, I had not heard Cindy's presentation before. We had talked about this, but the thing that really makes me happy is the consistency of what she's doing as a successful artist. I think her points are great, and many of those are things that I do. I did want to show you, there's so much information about marketing. This, I hope you can see this. Can everyone see this page? This is your marketing presentation that I put together for you because there is so much information. It would take forever to go through this. So this is some place that you can go and share with other members of the Potters Guild to find out where some of these links are. When you decide you're ready to do, for example, email, or you're ready to do a website, all of the links here are here available for you, and this site will be up for you
Lynn,
for as long as you need it.
Can you reshare that real quick? It's not popping up
Sure.
for some reason.
Okay.
We can't see it, Lynn.
Well, let me do it again. Here we go. Now can you see it?
Yep, there you go. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. All right, so here are the links right here. I'm going to be going over this in a real quick little PowerPoint presentation, but I wanted you to have this link. It's my website, lynnbelisle.com, but it's sapg.html, and I'll give that to you in a minute. And you can come to this page anytime and get this information. I've also put a free email collection sign-up sheet for you for shows that you can download, and just some other suggestions. There are a couple of really good links over here. One is from Clay Times on marketing and business for potters, and then another one is selling your pottery and ceramics online. And I'm just going to mention these real quickly, but I want to show you this PowerPoint presentation. One of the things I learned when I was teaching computers is how to do PowerPoints, and so I'm going to show you one right here, and we're going to go through this real quickly. I think the first thing that you need to do when you decide to market yourself is to get a website. Cindy talked about this. She talked about how she used her name for her website, and you need to sort of define the audience that you're looking for. One of the ways that you can sort of brand yourself. Yes.
Lynn, can you, I think when you switch from this to the PowerPoint, you'll have to reshare the PowerPoint.
Okay, let me see. How's that?
It's not popping up yet. You'll just have to hit either new share or just do screen share again. And
okay, hang on. Let me get back to my Zoom.
yeah, you should be able to select that PowerPoint directly.
Okay, how's this? Can you see that now?
Perfect.
Okay. Technology. Okay, this is the part that where you sort of decide what your design is. And the first thing I'm going to share with you is Canva. This is a little video of showing how easy it is to make your own logo. You just go to Canva and you pick out, and it's free. You just go to Canva and you pick out a design like this one right here. This takes like no seconds at all. This says Penlight Studio Photography. Can you see how quick the video is working? You just grab another color and you change whatever color you want. And then you change the name of it. And we're going to change this to Target Practice Pottery. And you can use any of these designs on the left for free. And then we're going to change this to Mugs and Bowls for Men. So maybe this is your particular specialty. You're doing heavy-duty mugs and bowls that guys will like. And you can use this to define your brand just for free on the website called Canva. Once you have that there, once you have an idea of where you want to go, then you can take it to the website. Now, looking for your own domain is really easy. For example, if Pamela wanted to get PamelaBarkley.com, she could get it right now for 99 cents. If John Nelson wanted to get johnnelson.com, it's already taken. And that's because it's a common name, but there are variations that you could choose. Once you have your domain, which costs, you see here for the first year, it's 99 cents. All of the things I'm telling you are either free or really cheap. You can make a free website with either Weebly or Wix, and you can do it yourself, I promise you. It is so easy to do, and you can see tutorials on YouTube on how to do this. You don't have to set up an online store to do this. You can just put it on your business card that says, you know, my website is jillwilson.com. Please visit, and it will have your information and your contact information. It makes a great headquarters for all of your marketing. To be able to say that you have a website is really terrific. And again, all of these links are on that page that I showed you, including this PowerPoint presentation. I personally have two domains that I use a lot. One is my name, lynnbelisle.com, and the other is earthshards.com, which is my Etsy site. Another thing that's a great marketing tool are Moo cards. How many of you have Moo cards? Moo cards give you a pack of business cards, and each one has a different design with a picture of your work on it. And I use these Moo cards, you can see right here on some of my little pieces. I hang these Moo cards as tags on my work, and you'll pay less than $30 for 50 Moo cards to start off with. You don't have to hand them out. You know, you can save these for special things. You don't have to hand out your Moo cards at every craft show you go to. But it's nice to have a deck of cards that each one has a different design on it. They're really fun, and it's moo.com. And they ship fast, and all you do is upload your photographs of your work to their website, and you've got a great marketing tool. And you can even ask people which one they would like. Which card of mine would you like? And they look through these, and they see all your work, and they pick one. So highly recommend Moo cards. Another thing that Cindy talked about, which I absolutely agree with, is using a mailing list. And Cindy uses Constant Contact. I use MailChimp. MailChimp is free. If you have fewer than 2,000 people on your mailing list, this is the free plan that they have. It's basics for businesses that are just getting started. This is a link to MailChimp. And you can, if you build a website with Weebly or Wix, you can put a page there that says, contact me if you'd like to be on my email list. And when people go to your website, they can add their name to your list, and then you can put that on MailChimp and grow your list that way. So MailChimp is another great tool, another free great tool. I have a blog called Shards, and I think the trick to having a blog is to be consistent about it. You can, write something in advance. These are called evergreens. Maybe you just have a thought on a Sunday and you write down about some new glaze or a design that you got from looking at a leaf or whatever. Just write it down and save it. And then collect these, and every week just post one. Or if you want to give a report on a show that you've been to, you can take some pictures and post those. And the nice thing about having a blog is that you can, when the blog is posted, you can then, on my blog, it posts to LinkedIn. And I have links so that when I post something on Instagram, it also goes to Facebook and to Twitter. So this keeps you from having to post over and over again to different media. You can set this up so if you post on Instagram, it also goes to Facebook. And it really saves you some time. So what we're looking at here are things that are free or extremely cheap, and things that save you time and things that are easy. This is on another thing that Cindy was talking about was approaching galleries, and I absolutely agree. I like to sort of think outside the box. One of the places where my work is selling well is at Shades of Green Nursery. And, if you're a potter, think about that. Think about nurseries and outdoor patio shops. Think about museum shops. There are wonderful places to sell particularly unusual small pieces. And the COVID won't last forever, and museums are slowly opening, and it's a good bet to go by and just talk to their buyer, because they do buy locally. And so think about museums. Kitchen stores are another place. Another good outreach is collaborations with other artists. I know that we had I was president of the San Antonio Art League, and Cindy is now the vice president. And we had a great clay show that many of you were involved with last January. And, that kind of collaboration brings in audiences from both groups, which I think is really great. And when you volunteer with those audiences, you expand your network, which doesn't directly contribute to sales, but it certainly puts you in the loop and builds a community. And once you have a community built, that kind of networking can give you the exposure that helps with your sales and helps people know your work and what's special about it. Then, this is about online sales. And I know this is not for everybody, but I want to tell you how easy it is and how successful it's been for me. There are a couple of tricks to this, and one is, remember that when you do online sales, you're going to be shipping things. So if you are a production potter and you make large platters, this is not for you. But what I've had a real success with, and some of you may remember from my studio, I make small earthenware faces for artisans to incorporate in assemblages and things like that. And I've had almost 4,000 sales since I opened the store about 7 years ago, and it's lots of fun. Etsy charges nothing to set up your store. It charges a small percentage per transaction, and your buyer pays the postage. Etsy takes care of all of your paperwork. It takes care of even printing your postage labels for you. It's a very, very easy way to sell online. A good way to get started looking at Etsy, if you look over on this side, you just look up small pottery for sale on Etsy and see what other people are doing. You can take a look at some of the mugs over here. Some people are selling them for $10, some for $6, some for $18. Kind of compare your work to what's moving and selling on Etsy. Other places are eBay, and then you can also set up your own website shop with places like Big Cartel. To me, that's more trouble than I want to get into. I like Etsy because it's easy. And when you make small objects that are shippable, just expect it to really do well with the sales, especially if you can find a niche. I mean, maybe you want to specialize in spoon holders, or I don't know exactly what you do, but think of something that's small and unusual that people will like, and give it a try on Etsy. And I'm happy anytime to help you with setting up an Etsy site. I think we're all here to help each other, and there's some terrific tutorials on it as well. So that's another thing, and this will sustain you through the bad days of COVID or whatever goes on, when places are closed and we can't have craft shows. If you have an online presence, it's a nice thing to keep you in the studio and working. I also do online teaching, and a lot of you are wonderful. You do wonderful demonstrations. If you have an iPhone, you can video those and you can put them up on a platform like Teachable. And people are doing this. This is another way to stay engaged with your craft while you can't go to the live shows. And right now, it's a perfect time for us all to sort of say, what else can I do when I can't sell in person? So take a look at Teachable and see who else is teaching pottery and see what else you might do. And this is a way to produce some income, but it's also a way to share what you know with people who might be interested in learning from you. And you don't have to have a teaching certificate. You just have to have heart and experience to do this. The other thing about Teachable is that you can also find great free courses there on how to set up a website, on how to market yourself. Lots and lots of information out there, again, for free. Finally, and this is something that Jill alluded to, give away your time. If you don't want to work on Teachable and sell your workshops, make a video about throwing or hand building and put it on YouTube for free. Build up an audience that way. Volunteer. I think that every time you share your knowledge and your love for your craft with other people, it just keeps giving back to you. And you know, seriously, it's a wonderful way to get people engaged. The last email I sent out this morning was talking about some of the free workshops that I am giving away on my Teachable site, and people go there and they look at the free workshops, and then they become involved with that teaching community, and they take other workshops that, you know, keep things affordable. You know, we're not here to make a profit off of each other. So anything you can think of to give away. I know we're always asked to give something for silent auctions and things. Well, you know, think about it and do it. It's a really great way. Generosity is its own reward. So that's what I have, and it parallels Cindy's, I think, very nicely. Both of us have the same approach. I have, you know, some specific experience in small pottery, but you can come to this webpage anytime you want to and take a look at these resources, and just take advantage of this. Ask me questions. My email is on there, but I'm here to help you market and just give you the benefit of what experience I have with that. If you want to take a look at this PowerPoint presentation again, here's a link right here that will take you to that as a PDF, and you can look at it again and share it with anybody else that you would like to do to share it with. But again, as Cindy said, you know, it's a step-by-step, really caring for people, paying attention to the people that buy your work, and staying in touch with them. So that's it from me.
Wow, that was impressive.
Well, that's why I put it all on the website, so I wouldn't have to remember all that stuff.
I have a question about your Etsy store. When you
Sure.
first set it up, how long did it take to build up a business on that?
It took about 8 months for me to make more than just say one sale a month. But not long. People started, you know, I sold some vases to a woman who was doing a spirit doll workshop, and she spread the word. And by the end of 8 months, I was making about, you know, 5 sales a month. And then, you know, as the years went by, I sell all over the world, and I usually make about, oh gosh, several hundred sales a month sometimes. And you know, it just and oh, the other good thing is you can close it down anytime it gets too busy for you and reopen it. So over the past 7 years, it's really grown, and I've made about 4,000 sales, as I said, over that time. So,
That's amazing, Lynn.
it surprised the heck out of me, Jill.
Yeah. And I don't know about the rest of y'all, but I want to go back to Cindy on something. You know, she said that she got everybody's email by taking a picture of them with whatever they were purchasing. And I think that's one of the coolest tricks I've heard, because I hear artists constantly saying they don't want to give me their email. You know, Cindy, do you have a problem with that? Or they
I just basically tell them that my mother raised me to thank people, and so I'm trying to thank them. And I will thank them with a photo as well.
Wow. And so that gives you their email. Do you tell them you're adding them to your mailing list?
It's perfectly clear what I'm doing. I tell them that I ask them, first of all, besides just sending them a thank you, if they're interested in my blog or my newsletter, and if I can reach out to them. And they 95% of the time they say yes, like that's perfectly okay. You can use my email.
That's cool. Alan, can you put Lynn and Cindy side by side so that we can ask them questions? Is that possible? No? Okay. So you'll just have to go back and forth?
Yeah, there's no way to spotlight 2 speakers at once.
Okay.
So as long as everyone is for the most part muted or quiet, when you ask a question, the speaker will pop up who's answering it.
Hey, Jill, I wanted to just kind of follow up one more follow-up question on the email thing. Cindy, when you're at the show or wherever it is that they're purchasing the artwork, you take the photo of them at that time. How do you capture their email address with the photo and whatnot? Like, how do you keep it all straight? I know those are kind of busy, hectic times. Any suggestions for keeping it straight?
I have a specific notebook, and I just ask them to write it down, so I don't have to write it down in case I don't hear it correctly or whatever. Or sometimes I always have an art label with the painting, and if I don't have my notebook right there, and I've got my square and all this other stuff that I have to kind of juggle, I will just say, please write your email on the back of this tag, and then I keep that. They're getting a receipt, but I keep that, and it's really helped me, because as soon as I come home from the show too, I'm wading through what I've sold, who I've communicated with, what the emails are, and then usually this first day when I get back, I will email them right away, so I get that email on my computer server, because to me that's more valuable than anything.
Thank you. That's helpful.
Pamela, when Cindy and I were first talking, and she said that she'd built this constant contact list over all these years, and that she'd gotten everybody's email address all this time, I was just astounded. When she works in a gallery, she does the same thing. Everything they sell, she takes a picture of those people that day and posts it to the gallery's Facebook page. I mean, she gets those emails. It's astonishing. And she's doing good for the gallery, because she's getting them some social media presence. Well, I'm just trying to validate the fact that they've bought my artwork, and I truly am appreciative. I know everybody is that makes a sale, but I want to show them, and just by reaching out like that with a picture, and when they're with their husband or their kids or their dog or whoever's with them, I get them in a picture with the artwork. It connects me immediately to them. And then it reminds them when I send it to them. And I'm hoping that will lodge in their mind for the future. I want to add that when she posts on stuff, her post may be about the animals. They may be about what's blooming in her garden. It's not about, here's my latest painting, buy me. But there's something up there all the time. That's why I said I thought it was pretty subtle, but you constantly see her name. And if you're in her mailing list, you're gonna get these reminders of her name regularly. I appreciate that, Jill. One thing that sometimes I need to be reminded of is that even though they're not getting back with me after every blog or newsletter or art connection that I've made with them through Constant Contact, I get enough of returns from commissions and requests, or they'll say they saw something and they would like to buy that as a gift for somebody, and so that works. It's not sometimes as immediate as I want it to be, but down the road it gets me business. So I want to emphasize again that Cindy and Lynn both teach. Cindy's frequently teaching children's classes. Lynn it teaches a lot of adult classes primarily. And Lynn, you want to tell them about the SIM Center? And because some of these people teach, I don't think you could take a messy clay class, but you could teach other things.
We have, yeah. Leslie and I taught a paper clay class at the SIM Center. As I mentioned, Cindy and I are both involved with the San Antonio Art League. And the first year I was president, we got a grant from the Sims Foundation to put in a studio on the grounds. And the Sims studio is available for people to teach workshops. It's a standalone building, and as I said, I've taught a paper clay workshop there. People teach painting workshops. Of course, we're closed right now because of COVID, but when we open again, please, get in touch with Cindy or me about perhaps having a workshop there. It's a great place to teach, and you can teach about 10 people at a time there. Jill alluded to my old studio. I had a large old studio at one time, which was a great teaching space too, but I've sort of cut back on that, just kind of downsizing. But teaching in person is just great fun. It really is. I miss it a lot right now.
I do too. I also teach through Capini Academy, which is a wonderful place with lots of room. And I've done workshops for the Texas Pastel Society and other art organizations. And that's mostly adults, but it's just another avenue to reach out and meet people. And like Lynn said, to make connections with folks.
I had a question about developing a relationship with galleries. What's your normal process for doing that? Is it, email? Is it in person? Do you show up with work? What's your normal process for sort of getting into galleries and creating those relationships?
For me, I'll send them I do these calendars that I use as gifts, and I'll send them that with a note and just say, want to give you this gift. Do you have time to talk to me on the phone, or can I come by? And but I never do a cold call. I contact them ahead of time, but I usually give them something.
Same here, and I do cold calls just if I happen to be in the area. Right now, yeah, right. But I show at Marta Stafford's gallery in Marble Falls, and I was there for a weekend and just took her a little gift because I liked her gallery. It was a little magnetic ceramic pen, and we started talking, and I've been in her gallery now for about 9 years. But Cindy's right. I think, you just can't sort of barge into a gallery with your stuff and say, how do you like it? Can you sign me up? But truly, you can, having a website is really important, because people can, here's my stuff, and they can go and look at your gallery of work. That's the beauty of having an online presence. And I know that works for Cindy.
You mentioned retail, and that has worked for me. In my neighborhood, there's a flower shop that I've been using for years, and I knew the owner, and I said, can I put a card rack in here and use some wall space? And she said, yeah. And it's someplace that has really made a difference for me. And another place, I love birds. I paint them all the time. I'd go and buy bird seed through Birds Unlimited. Well, the guy that owns it, he said, how about doing some art here? And so he buys my stuff ahead of time, and I have cards and little miniatures in his store. And these are people who love birds too. Another place that has worked for me is Mitchell Lake Audubon Center. And because I'm a birder, I've sold quite a bit of stuff through their center, which has a gift store. And so like you said, reach out to people who like the same things you do.
Right.
I would mention, Cindy mentioned the River Art group, River Art Gallery. They used to have potters in there, and there's a very limited pottery selection in there now. The limitation is that you have to work there one day a month, but that can be a Sunday afternoon. So the main pottery gallery that used to be in La Villita was very, very successful, and it's gone. So you might consider something like that once La Villita gets open again and there's a lot of customers. And what I never realized was that on the one day a month you work, you can take lots of extra pieces with you, and that's when you really sell a lot.
Oh, hey, Jill, there's another gallery that's called Starving Artist. It's through the Little Church.
Right.
And my work's in there too. And there's a lot of pottery in there. that's another idea that you could approach them, and you don't have to work there. They have people that work there, but it's just another venue.
And think about places like the Botanical Garden, and even, you know, it's places that have gift shops, not necessarily the museums.
Yep.
Well, this is.
Pamela, excuse me, Lynn, go on.
Oh, I was going to say, talk about networking. I have a meeting with Voices de la Luna at 3 o'clock. And so I'm going to probably slip out in about 5 minutes. This is something that I'm doing with networking. This is for a literary magazine, and it's part of the arts community. But you know, another example of kind of cross-pollinating what you do. But I'm happy to take questions until then.
Also, Cindy asked me to do a screenshot of everyone. So if before you left, if we could do a quick screenshot, that'd be great.
Oh, I'll do that too.
So, you know, so don't, you know, if you don't put your head down low or anything, we'll just kind of get everyone in the frame and get a screenshot of everyone. And just kind of hold a pose for a second. So I'll try to get something good so everyone can kind of be in it.
Thanks, Ellen.
Yeah, there you go, Mara. Perfect. And so I'll share this with you, Cindy and Lynn, and then
Thank you, Alan.
maybe we'll put it on Facebook or Instagram and see if somebody else will get in.
And we dropped off some people, too bad.
It'll be a little souvenir.
Yeah.
Well,
Cool. Thank you.
thank you all. I hope to see you next time when the Bally's talk about their collection. That's going to be a lot of fun.
Hey, Lynn and Cindy, I can't thank you enough. This has been really helpful. You know, it's easy to kind of let these things go to the bottom of the priority list and just focus on making the next pot. But I think selling work is also an inspiration to make more work. So this has been really helpful. I appreciate both of you, and I know it takes some effort to put it together. This has been great.
Well, thank you. And one of the other things I'd recommend is a book by, it's called I'd Rather Be in the Studio, and it's about just that. Of course, we'd all rather be in the studio. And look for that book, but it talks about marketing when you can't do it. So thank you all for inviting me, and it was just great seeing you all. And if you want to revisit the information, you know where to get it. Thank you, Jill. Thank you, Ellen.
Thank you both.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Well,
So-
any more questions for Cindy? We still have time if anyone has anything else they'd like to ask or get into.
No.
I'll kind of ask one. So Cindy, you mentioned a little bit about your process and about working consistently. I guess, how do you kind of keep moving through work when you're having a kind of a hard day getting started?
That's a good question. What I do is, like, I have a list of things that I'm interested in, and it'll be a short list and a longer list. And I always try to have something I'm brainstorming about what I want to work on, something that's inspired me. I call it the inspiration list. And so that's what keeps me steadily focused on one thing at a time. And it's mostly for my photos. I started out as a photographer, so I'm looking at photos all the time through my portfolio of what can create a painting, or maybe several photos.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
It sounds a lot like with you and with Lynn that a lot of success has come from kind of finding that niche, and then like that one market that you're hitting. Do you consider that at all when you're working on something new?
Yes. I try to take all those threads and weave them so that my conclusion is, am I moving forward in a positive way? I don't want to be spinning my wheels. Nobody does. Nobody wants to waste time. Sometimes you're going to, no matter what. But yeah, I try to think in terms of, okay, what will this lead to that will help me down the road? And the things that, I daily post on social media. And so the things that I'm working on, if I'm working on animals and somebody's been talking to me like, oh, I'm kind of interested in getting a pet portrait done. Well, guess what's going to get posted that day? It's going to be an animal or a pet portrait that I've already done, because I want to put that in their head. I want I want them to be thinking about that. And it's subtle, but it works.
So does that mean that you have things that you enjoy working on, but might not be, I guess, good from a marketing perspective?
Yeah, I mean, there's always things that you like doing, and then there are things that you may not like doing, but you do them anyways.
Yeah.
I'll give you an example. I'm at Capege Cafe. Well, guess what? They sell coffee there. Is still life my favorite thing? No. But did I do some coffee paintings? You betcha. And what is sold already? Coffee stuff. Because it's when they come in there, that's what they're thinking about. They're thinking about coffee. They look at the wall. Oh, hey, I like that with the coffee cup. So, it's called alignment.
Yeah.
A quick question. What do you do for work that does not sell? And how long do you keep them? Or do you just hold on to them until they sell?
That's a really good question. And it's constantly a dilemma for me. Because my work goes in frames, I can take it out of that frame and then set it aside. I have a huge file where I keep things that don't sell. And sometimes I'll go back and rework them when I have time. And sometimes they do sell after I rework them. And, it's just something that, I have a certain percentage of things that aren't going to sell. And I either rework them or basically just trash them. Or I give them away, or I'll discount them. There's always work that I'm willing to let go at a price. Like one of my email campaigns was buy one, get one, the BOGO count thing. And so I had the smaller pieces and maybe some things that weren't moving real fast. Those went into the BOGO sale. And I was really surprised how many I sold of those, just because I brought the prices down. And I made it look attractive because they thought, they were getting a really good deal. I didn't make a lot of money with that campaign, but yeah, I got rid of them. Well, I shouldn't say get rid of them, but yeah, I did. Yeah.
Thank you.
So,
Cindy, tell them more about the food bank thing, because you kind of glossed over it. Tell them what the offer was to your mailing list.
okay, yeah, thanks. I posted artwork and I told them right up front what I was offering, that they could contribute to the food bank and also get an original piece of art. Everything that I was offering, they were originals, and they were going to be framed, and they were really decent prices. And then 50% was going to the food bank. And what they did is they either, I told them I delivered it if it was 25 miles within my home, or they could come and pick it up. And I had a station outside of my house, so they didn't have to come in the house because everything was COVID. And so that worked out really well. They wanted to contribute to the food bank, but they also wanted something in return. And so they got the best of both worlds, and at a really good price.
What price range was it?
It was $75 up to about $250. And so I sold a lot of things around $100. And it added up. It really, within 2 weeks, I had sold enough that I gave the food bank $500. And what was great about working with the food bank was they gave me thank you notes. They gave them thank you notes. Everybody was thanked properly. They're just a terrific organization. So they received artwork. They got thank you notes from me. They got thank you notes from the food bank. It's like happy ending. It was something that I'm going to probably try again. You know, COVID has not been a time where I've made a lot of money, but that's life. You know, things don't always work out the way you want them to. So you just do the best you can, you adapt to it. And that's my motto for COVID, adapt and survive. So,
Is that
hope I
something
answered your question.
is that something you set up with the food bank in advance, or was that just
No, well, I used to do travel groups. It was called the San Antonio Day Tripper, and I've taken groups to them, and we've done tours. So I was on the radar, but I never said ahead of time I'm going to do this because I wasn't sure if it was going to work. And then with the first ones that came in, I had called them too, and I'd emailed them, and they said, "Well, we appreciate it, and we're going to make sure you get thanks. You'll get a thank you note." So it was really smooth. And of course, any charity would be helpful at this time because there are just so many people that are in need. But to me, the obvious one was the food bank.
Any other questions?
Well, great. Well, if no one has any other questions,
I
we'll
have
just
a question for you, Alan. I noticed that you're recording the meeting. Are you posting it?
that's the plan. I've been slacking. You put it on me. I've been slacking. I haven't posted them yet. Well, why I got you here though, would you prefer them to be on YouTube or embedded on our website? Where would you find it the best or the most helpful for you?
Oh, I didn't even think about YouTube, but that'd be great.
YouTube, you think?
You know, we can gather more people that way.
Okay. Yeah.
It's up to you. I was just asking.
No, that's a definite, like that's an easy solution. So we can create a San Antonio Potters Guild YouTube account. And then what I will try to do is I don't think there's a whole lot of editing needed for these. So we can just post them as is on the YouTube as a kind of like a rerun. And then we will send them out with our other notices just as to let you know they're there. And then we can also cross post them onto our website too. Does that sound good?
Any other questions? Next month, we have a visit to the Bally's house. They're going to be showing a new gadget that they're using and also discussing how you build a good collection, one that has value, one that is actually a collectible collection. Other future programs, we have Bridget Richards on cups, John Nelson on horsehair, and James Miller, I'm not sure doing what yet. James is one of the instructors at Northeast Lakeview. So we have a bunch of programs coming up. Pamela, do you have anything to say?
No, the only thing I wanted to be sure and recognize the work that Jill, both you and Alan have done to set these up. You know, you guys have worked tirelessly to get really great content, and Alan to make sure that folks have all the support that they need from a technology perspective. So we couldn't have done this without you guys. So thank you very much to both of you.
You're welcome.
I
And
agree.
Cindy, thank you so much. And Cindy's handout is available, as is Lynn's. Cindy, do you want to put yours on your website too, so people could go back to it, or do you want us just to send it out?
I can put it on my website and you can send it out. It's free.
Cool. I have it linked in the chat too. So if you get a chance to go through the chat, it's in the top of the chat there, and you can download the PDF directly. So it's a hidden link on our website, but you can access the PDF that way. Has
Super.
everyone grabbed it that needed to grab it?
So you're saying we just open chat right now and we can print it?
Yep. If you go to chat and then scroll up towards the top,
Right.
it's the second sort of comment that I made.
I see it.
It's a link through sapotters.org.
I got it.
And that's the document. The other thing is the happy hour is going to be August 28th at 5:30. I'll send out another Zoom link for that to remind everyone to pop in and say hello, bring some new work. We'll I'll start getting these videos up. If I need any help, I'll call Melba immediately. But thank you so much for stopping by. Cindy, thank you so much for all that information.
You're welcome.
That's all great information. Hopefully we can put it to use soon and maybe show up at galleries soon and start using it in person. So, well, thank you.
Right, I'll take care.
All right, appreciate
Thank
it.
you, Cindy.
Thank
Thanks,
You're welcome, Jill.
everybody.
Take care.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.